from Christopher Scholl. What do you think about knitting your own kilt hose? Do knitting machines allow beginners to skill up quickly?
Do knitting machines, are we talking AI robots?
Hi, honey, I'm home.
Are we talking like Terminator?
Hasta la vista, baby.
No, probably not.
Probably not.
No. Okay. Do knitting machines allow you to skill up quickly? Sure. I don't own a knitting machine, and I'm not a knitter.
Neither am I.
But I am pro trying crafty things like knitting your own hose. I know that when I talk about like House Achievate or any of the kilt hose companies that are making kilt hose in Scotland, they are using not machines as in they're using machines as in computerized machines to knit things. So, knitting in the round circular knitting machines, actually computerized, or flatbed knitting machines. And then there's also 1920s mechanized, crank style knitting machine where it's just a bunch of gears and little pins, poking out everywhere. So let's assume you're not going to invest in a $20,000, Yokoshima knitting machine, flatbed knitting machine.
But if you do, talk to us about potentially being one of our suppliers.
That said, if you're going to if you have a hand crank knitting machine, there's like a weirdly active, or not weirdly, but it's an active hand crank knitting machine, community. I know Steve Ashton, who used to own Freedom Kilts, he owns X Marks the Scot. He at least used to knit his own hose using the crank machines, and back in 2012, 2015, he got really, really into it. So there's obviously passions for this kind of thing. What I would say is, do something and build skill sets that are being lost. It's just fun to do different stuff and be able to do and create different things that don't exist. There are plenty of ribbed kilt hose that exist in the world. There aren't enough cable knit kilt hose. Or if you see an old McKeon print from the 1860s, you said hey, that guy has, stag heads in diamond patterns on the kilt hose in this particular painting. I want to make those for myself. Awesome. Do it. Do cool stuff like that. Anytime you get into the upper echelons of geekdom, where there's things that are so nuanced, a niche and a niche and a niche, that it's difficult to find any kind of manufacturer to do it. Doing it yourself is an awesome option. So I would always encourage people to do those kind of projects themselves and learn how any kind of trade like that. Ian.
What he said.
All of that.
I'm not a knitter. Okay. I don't know much about it. It is cool to be able to get things, though, that aren't going to be commercially available. The thing you described with the stags and that thing.
It's a thing that actually exists, and I want it, but I'm not going to take the time to knit it.
And the commercial kilt hose companies are probably not going to do it.
No.
And if they did, they'd be $400 hose probably.
Yeah. And the other thing that I will say that, to that point, the other thing that I would say in learning a craft, learning a skill, learning how to do something like that, and understanding how much time it takes to knit things, you suddenly get a very, very real world understanding of why things cost as much as they do. Mm-hmm. When you look at a pair, 2 skeins of yarn for a pair of kilt hose or something, and you realize it took you 27 hours all in to knit this pair of socks. What is your time worth? What was the raw materials? Yada, yada, yada. What was the skill and the labor worth for you, and the knowledge worth for you to be able to do this? Now, all of a sudden, $400 for a pair of socks doesn't seem out of the question. Yeah. So you start understanding why things cost the way they do, or how much they do. And in a world of fast fashion where we expect things immediately and to cost, $10 for a six pack of socks, or a pack of underwear, you start to go maybe these things should cost more than this. People's time is worth money. So yeah, it's an interesting one to kind of reflect on and give you a different view of the world. So yeah, that's my little spiel for that.
We all have hobbies, we all have passions and things that we are passionate about. So if time and money were not factors, What is something you would like to develop? What skill, what trade would you like to develop? Let us know in the comments.